how quickly I went from having faith in one of these couples to now having faith in none? Let's talk about it.
Roxiie says we're gonna talk about it.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxiie with Roxiie Says, and we're going to talk about it today. We are reviewing Married at First Sight season I cannot remember episode Where Are They Now? Okay, this is the last episode of the season. We are after the reunions, about 13 months after decision day, and we're just going to catch up with everybody because they're all getting together for and Brandon's commitment ceremony, child. So let's talk about it. But before we do, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you are made aware every time I post a new video. Okay, so let's just get into this episode because it really irritated me. It really did. So first off, we see Tom and Camille, and they're chilling with Tom's family, and they're talking about Tom's swag still being off of the charts. Okay, they speak about starting a family and discussing when is the right time, and Tom says that he wants to do it sooner than later, but they both want to make sure that Camille is more established in her career. And at this point, I was like, you know what? I just love that Tom acknowledges that, because some people do not understand the huge choice and sacrifice that women have to make when they have to make the decision of starting a family or advancing in their career, okay? Or possibly taking a step back in their career, all right? So when he said that, I really liked the fact that it appeared that Camille's career advancement was a priority for both Camille and Tom. But why did Tom's sister-in-law jump in and say, oh, we don't see you as much anymore? Duh, girl. He's married now. You're not going to see him all the time. Are you? Hello? He's at home getting tied up and gagged and whipped by Camille. Girl, you ain't know. Mind your business, all right? But what I really did not like was Tom's twin when he jumped in and he was like, well, you know, Camille, you have forever to get established in your career. You don't have forever to have a baby. Baby, the way if I was Camille, I'd have been like, oh, really? Oh my God. Tell me more. I didn't know that. Thank you so much for that information. How much longer do I have, sir? Please let me know. Let me know. Thank you so much for the enlightenment, child. When he said that, I was like, is he mansplaining that to Camille? Does he not think that Camille has taken all of that into consideration? Like she's not a grown-ass woman? That irritated me. If you cannot tell, stop telling people when they need to have kids, okay? They're going to have the kid when they want to have the kid. Can you imagine how horrible that conversation would be for someone who's been trying to get pregnant and wasn't able to, right? Or maybe they had a horrible experience years ago. I just don't understand why people are so comfortable with telling women when they should have kids. It's very intrusive and rude in my opinion, all right? So anyway, we see Tom and his twin, they step outside because Twin thinks that he'll get the real deal when Camille isn't around, okay? Twin thinks that there's some information that Tom isn't really discussing in front of Camille. So Tom still says that everything is great, but he's still struggling, right? For them to get into that super passionate love phase. And Tom says, well, you know, we're sexually active, but I want to get to that space where, you know, I feel like I can't live without her. And without a doubt, I know that I love that person. Now, when it comes to the feeling like you can't live without her, I don't think anyone should feel like they cannot live without someone. So you don't need to get there, Tom. But when you're saying that you're not sure without a doubt that you love Camille, I said, yikes. I said, yikes, because I also remember you saying that you love her without a doubt. So what's going on? What changed? But also remember that this is Mr. was with his ex for 9 years and didn't marry her and then cheated on her. Okay, that's who we dealing with. Let's not forget that, okay? And then he also says that he is not at the point where he feels like Camille is the woman who he wants to be with for the rest of his life, because what he feels for her is more of a general love as opposed to a romantic love. I said, it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good for these two. And then later in the episode, we see them talking about buying an investment property and planning a family, all right? But honestly, I am not as confident in this couple as I was after the reunion. After the reunion, I was like, okay, these two really appear to be locked in. They're going strong. They love each other. But now seeing the dynamic of the conversation that Tom had with his brother as opposed to the conversation he had at the table with Camille there, I honestly feel like Tom says the things that he thinks that Camille wants to hear, but they really aren't on the same page, especially when coming to family planning. And also remember, Tom is 10 years older than Camille. So he does want to have kids sooner. And I know that Camille has loosely been saying, 1 to 2 years, around 2 years, baby. I feel like if that 2-year mark hits, if they make it there, but if that 2-year mark hits and Camille says like another year, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And I would understand if you and Tom made an agreement for a certain amount of time, but I would also understand if Camille needs more time. And if Tom says, okay, well, we said 2 years, I want to have kids now. I don't know. And then on top of that, it seems like Tom isn't being 100% honest with Camille about that situation. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, okay? So next we see Aatchi. He's on a video call with his friend, and he says that it has been so great getting to know the cast off of the show because during filming, he did not want to be around them as much. He didn't really want to get to know them as much, okay? Aatchi says that he wants kids, but he doesn't want to jump into a relationship, so he want to make somebody a baby mama, I guess. I don't know. And he also says that he later has to meet with a divorce lawyer, and it's been a year, so he is sure that wants the divorce to be over as much as he does, okay? So I don't know what the holdup is. Y'all don't got nothing to split. Y'all don't got a damn thing to split, okay? So we later see Aatchi. He goes to the lawyer's office and he tells her about the show and what happened between him and And we already know all of this, what he said. It wasn't a good relationship, blah, blah, blah. We spoke about this ad nauseum at this point. And Aatchi believes that it will be an uncontested divorce since is already engaged to another person. And the lawyer was like, does she think that she's divorced? And Aatchi was like, no, she knows that we're still married. And she was like, okay. So Aatchi says that he wants absolutely nothing from and he's just ready for the process to be over. They're not on speaking terms, so they'll be communicating solely through their counsel. And that's pretty much it. We later see him speak to his mom on the phone about the meeting with the divorce attorney, and his mom tells him to just give himself time to heal and time will take care of the rest. And Mama also says that she feels so horrible at having to watch Aatchi go through this. And I was like, Mama, did you watch the show? Did you see what your son put someone else through? Did you, or you only saw what she... Okay, next. So we are on to David and Madison. These two are still rocking and rolling. They're very excited to be attending the commitment ceremony. And Madison asks David if he is nervous to see Michelle. Clearly, Michelle lives rent-free in Madison's mind. She got a key fob to that bitch and everything, okay? Because why is Michelle even a thought? I understand it's a show. Maybe production asked them to ask the question. I'm just going by what we see on the TV, okay? Y'all still together? She should be a non-motherfucking factor in y'all's story. She really should be, all right? So David says that he's made his apologies and he's not going to spend any more time on the situation. And Madison says she's not nervous to see Michelle. She actually feels indifferent. Girl, that is not how you feel. That is not how you feel. And you know it's not. That's why that fire alarm started going off when David asked you that question, because even the fire alarm knew that you're about to tell a bold-faced lie, okay? Yes, it did. So we later learned that Madison hasn't told her dad that her and David are now living together. But in my opinion, that shouldn't be a problem because remember, Madison's dad was very supportive of them being together when Madison first told him about that whole David situation, all right? They speak about moving to a bigger place and David says, girl, I don't care where we go as long as I'm with you, as long as I'm with you. And I was like, of course he don't care where y'all go because Madison is the breadwinner, remember? So he better go wherever the hell she goes or he got to go back to his mama's basement. Hello. And child, Madison must have heard me typing that because as soon as I finished typing that sentence, she was like, you know, you being a mama's boy and living in the basement is so far from the truth of who you are. And you're just a great guy. You're a loving guy and you're a family guy. That's all. And I'm like, okay, girl, he can still be those things living in his mama's basement with very little savings. Like all of those things can coexist. It's not one or the other. All right. So Madison tells David that she really struggled watching the show back because seeing how poorly Michelle treated David made her feel horrible because she's so protective of him. And I'm like, okay. And how did you feel watching it back when you were treating Allan like shit? How did that make you feel? Did you skip those scenes? How did that go for you? Girl, bye. And she doesn't feel like David got an adequate apology from Michelle. And I'm like, girl, if you don't get the on, honestly, if you don't get on, because why are you so stuck on Michelle? Why? You got your guy. You got your prize. Okay, girl, you should not be thinking about no damn Michelle or no apology from no damn Michelle. Did you apologize to Michelle? Have y'all been truthful about y'all timeline? No and no. So I don't even know why you expect anything from Michelle. Okay, Madison is weird to me. Madison is very weird to me. And David says that he doesn't even care because he's sure that Michelle probably feels the same way about his apology. Okay, that is probably bullshit. And I said, thank you, David. At least David is being somewhat realistic about this situation. But like I've been saying, Madison has all of these expectations for others that she doesn't live up to herself. Girl, get off of my screen, okay? So next we see Allan. He's talking to his friends and letting them know that Madison only gave their relationship about 4 to 5 days before she started messing with David. She never really gave it a chance at all, but he says that he is still open to getting married again, and he says that he's been seeing his current girlfriend for about 3 months and they're learning each other. The way that he talked about his girlfriend in this scene and his relationship as a whole, it was very different than he described it at the reunion, in my opinion. He seemed more excited and more sure about this relationship at the reunion, but now it's kind of like, yeah, we still getting to know each other. A very different vibe. But like he said before, he will remain positive and continue to be a great guy despite what happened, okay? So next we see Michelle. She is pulling up to Carla's place to catch up about the reunion and the season as a whole. And Carla's place looks really cute. It really does. Carla said, y'all not about to say that I live in a storage unit. No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. I got my own spot, okay? So they say that everyone was pretty cordial at the reunion and things flowed very well since the show. Michelle says that if she can change anything, it would be the way that she behaved in the beginning, and she was an absolute bitch, okay? And she says that she cringed when she watched it back, as she should, because you were doing a lot, Michelle, okay? We did not like you at all, and a lot of people still don't. So Carla says that she wouldn't change a thing about how she handled herself during the season, and she says that after the season she actually dated a guy who was very free-spirited just like her, and it left her feeling like, oh no, I need someone more structured like Juana did. Okay, Carla says this is too much. You can't have two free-spirited people, all right? We do need some type of structure. And that makes sense, right? You got to have a little yin to your yang, all right? So we later see Carla. She's meeting up with her friend or sister and Juan. I don't know if it's her friend or her sister, but she's meeting up with someone. And they're meeting up because they are actually going into business together. They're starting a poncho line called Juancho's Ponchos. And I think that's a really cute name. I do. Now, this was interesting to me, though, given all of the things that Carla said about Juan in a recent interview about the type of person that he is. Okay. So the interview, it was a really good interview. Oh my gosh. I don't know the girl's name, but I'm gonna hold on. It's on the Positively Uncensored podcast channel, and the interviewer's name is Leah. I didn't get to finish it, but she did an amazing job. She asked Carla some very important questions. But in that interview, Carla pretty much said that from the honeymoon to even the dating, Juan didn't want to pay for anything. She was the one who organized all the dates. If she was like, hey, Juan, let's go to the pool, he would be like, well, I want to go for a run. And she would be like, okay, well, can we do both? And he was like, no, I want to go for a run type shit. Okay. She also said that when they would go out, the only times that they would go out would be if it was like a group with all of the other castmates, or if it was with her family, but he never wanted to do any one-on-one dates. Carla said that he was one person on camera and a different person when the cameras were off. She says that he told a big lie at the beginning of their relationship, like on the wedding day, and production actually told Juan to tell her what this secret was, and he didn't want to. She actually overheard production telling Juan that he needs to tell Carla. It just sounds like a whole mess, and I don't understand, based on what she said about Juan, why she would then want to go into business with Juan. Okay. She also said that during the honeymoon, when all of the guys were buying, she also mentioned this at the reunion, but when all of the guys were buying, nice little things for their partners or massages and things like that, she said there was a time when all of the ladies were in the pool, and one by one they were each getting up, to go on their little massage or whatever it was that their husband purchased for them. And she was the only one who never left the pool because Juan didn't book anything for her. And when she asked him, he said, well, I'm not about to spend money on someone who I just met. Sir, that's your wife though. So Juan, and we've already discussed this, Juan comes off as a very stingy person. Even when Carla had the conversation with his father, and his father was like, oh yeah, the woman pays 50%. And even when Carla's friends had a meeting with Juan and they said, okay, well, what about when your app pops off? Can Carla be a stay-at-home mom? And he was like, pretty much no, right? So Juan is one of those types of people. It doesn't matter how much he has. He's very stingy with whatever he has, which again is why I don't understand why Carla would want to go into business with someone like that, but I digress, all right? So Juan says that the business was Carla's idea and he's helping bring it to life. The logo is a picture of Juan's face, and I don't like that because I want Carla to be included in that logo and in that branding in some type of way. I feel like it's too Juan centered. I don't give a damn if it's called Juancho's Ponchos, okay? I feel like it's too Juan centered, and she needs to ingrain herself in that business and in that branding as well, especially since Juan doesn't even know nothing about the ponchos, and he's surprised about everything that they're saying. They're like, okay, eventually we can have some ponchos that fold into a bag. And he said, oh, really? That's a possible? They can do that? Yes, Juanathan. Yes, they can do it. And Juan tells them that his new girlfriend is so cool and chill, and she has a lash and an eyebrow business. And Carla's like, okay, cool. That's nice. And Carla just says that she has grown from the experience. They keep throwing in Juan talking about his little girlfriend. We don't give a damn. All right. Next, we see David and Madison. They go over to Camille and Thomas's house for a little game night. Okay. And I already told y'all at the reunion, it's very evident that Camille and Madison were the closest out of the women, and you can also see that Tom and David were very close as well. So Madison says that her and Camille, they try to link at least once a month, and they try to get the guys together as well. And Madison says what she loves about Tom and Camille is that they never villainize them, and they always treated them with respect despite what happened. So after they play their little game of sexy charades, they chat about their relationships, and Dave and Madison say that they always want to remember that at the end of the day, their love for each other is all that matters, okay? And Tom says that his mission is to continue to grow and get better with Camille. And in his confessional, he says that he loves Camille, and this is the healthiest relationship he's ever been in. But he needs to make sure that they're on the same page as far as family and the future, because that's what he'll need to know for sure to know if this is going to last. So Tom, like I said before, is it that you're saying that y'all are on the same page and you understand everything when you're in Camille's face, but when you speak to someone else or you're in your confessional, you reveal that y'all actually are not on the same page with the timeline and for starting a family? Because that's what it's giving. That's what it's giving, okay? So child, next we see MM and Brandon. They're at the wedding dress store. They're celebrating their 1-year anniversary, and they're so happy that they took this leap of faith and they now have each other. And MM says that she still feels like she never has to guess when coming to Brandon. His divorce has been finalized. MM still isn't officially divorced from Aatchi, but they still want to do a commencement ceremony in front of their friends and family. And Pastor Cal agreed to do this ceremony after they go through some counseling. Honestly, this is absolutely ridiculous to me, because I'm like, what's the rush? Y'all want to do it now so that it can be filmed for the show, right? That's the only thing that would make sense as to why you want to have a ceremony when both of y'all still are not divorced, okay? Only one of y'all is divorced. It's giving that y'all are just rushing so that it can be included in the show, and so that y'all can have some type of ceremony that Brandon ain't had to pay for. Let's keep it real. We also learned that they're still working on having a baby, and of course, Brandon has to let us know that they've been doing a lot of practicing. Thank you for that information, Brandon, all right? So then when they get back home, they're sitting on MM's couch, of course, because Brandon don't got no damn couch, and he says that his goal is to make MM a mother, and they start making out. Whatever, child. Later in the episode, we see MM. She's dress shopping. Didn't I say that already? Anyway, she's dress shopping. Now she's dress shopping with Brandon. And I'm like, why is he even there? He's not supposed to see her dress. But I guess it don't matter, because this ain't even a real wedding. And honestly, everyone can make their own rules, okay? So I guess it's not a big deal. But I just think that he wanted to be in as many scenes as possible, okay? Next, we see the guys. They're getting together for a boys' night. And they're discussing how much fun they actually had at Aatchi's art show. And Aatchi tells them how thankful he was to have them there, because he has no friends in Chicago. And he also apologizes to them for not being the most pleasant person. And he also acknowledges that he did not make the best effort to get to know the guys, all right? So they all discuss how hard it was to navigate this experience. And at this time, all of the guys are there except for David. He's running late because he's at work. You know, he got to make that money, honey. And Allan says that there's no animosity between him and David. And he's actually happy that him and Madison are still together. And he does say that Madison handled things fairly well, okay? So then Allan has to leave early because he says that he has to meet up with his girlfriend Valerie. So he leaves before David comes. And then when David comes over, they all ask Aatchi if he's excited for MM's commitment ceremony. They so messy. And Aatchi's like, oh, they're having a little ceremony? That's dope. I was just speaking to a divorce attorney. So congratulations. He puts his drink up and they all cheers to it and they share a nice little laugh, okay? So Juan says that he hopes that Brandon is actually in this for the right reasons, because he can see that MM really wants to be married. And I think that that was Jonathan's way of saying MM would have married anyone, okay? Anyone. And Brandon clearly saw that as well. So Aatchi was right in that sense, because the way that MM is moving, I would think so too. I think that anyone who approached MM in this little situation during this time period, she would have married them, okay? And Juan also says that he hopes that when the cameras shut off, it doesn't reveal that Brandon was only here for the cameras, okay? He's hoping that he doesn't just run away after the show is done. And Tom agrees, and he says, well, they went on one date and then they were engaged. That was very fast. And you can tell from this conversation that all of the guys peep Brandon's game, okay? Everybody's peeping game except for MM. So next we see all of the ladies. They're meeting up with Carla to make candles, and Michelle says that she doesn't get much anxiety when seeing Madison, because she knows that once things wrap up, she'll probably never have to see this girl again in her entire life, okay? So Carla wants them to be intentional with their candles, and she says that the candles will release all of the energies that they don't want and welcome all of the energies that they do want, and I love that. I want to make me some candles. I love candles, okay? When that little sale hits at what they call Bath and Body Works, I be loading up. I still have candles that I have not burned for over a year. Anyway, they each say what their candles mean to them, and they do a little sound bath after, and they each say what they want to release. And they pretty much say everything that you would expect. They want to release the past. They want to release resentment and hurt and pain. They want to release the need to control things, you know. So in Madison's confessional, she says that she wants to have empathy, and she knows that she didn't handle things in the best way with Michelle. Even though she has no interest in ever having a friendship with Michelle, she says that she can still empathize with how she felt during certain moments, and she hopes that Michelle can heal herself. Every single time Madison says that, like, oh, I hope Michelle can heal, it's very passive aggressive and shady in my opinion, but that's just me, okay? So next we see and Brandon. They're meeting up with Pastor Cal on MM's couch because Brandon don't got one, okay? And says that she wants Brandon to get Pastor Cal's stamp of approval. So they talk about Brandon's big personality, and I'm like, you mean his thirsty for attention ass personality, Pastor Cal? That's what you really want to say, okay? I must say that she does look really nice in this scene and in this episode as a whole. Definitely not the way that she looked in the finale episode. We already spoke about that, okay? She is glowing here. I have to say, she really is glowing, okay? So Pastor Cal asks her how she knows that Brandon isn't love bombing her. And says, well, because he's a man of his word and his actions line up with what he says. And they've gotten to know each other a lot over the past year, and they've loved, they fought, and they've handled everything, okay? And Brandon says that when they argue, still treats him like her husband. And Pastor Cal says, slow your roll. Y'all ain't married yet. You're not her husband. And Brandon says, okay, yeah, I know. I want to be her husband, okay? And he says that after all of paperwork is done, they can go to the courthouse. So he's not trying to pay for no damn wedding. I'm telling y'all. After they have this little ceremony, that's going to be their little ceremony. Okay, and they just gonna take it to the courthouse. Maybe might want to have something else bigger, but I get the feeling that Brandon is the type to say, we already did that on the show. We don't gotta spend money and do that again. You know, that's just the vibe that I get from Brandon. Okay, gonna spend that money on her wedding. Okay, she gonna go all out, but I know it's going to be on her dime. It's not going to be on Brandon's, okay? So Brandon says that he disconnected from his ex emotionally the day that his divorce paperwork was filed, all right? So trigger warning for this next part of the conversation. Trigger warning. Brandon gets very emotional when he tells the story of being estranged from his father until his dad called him one random day when his dad found out that he was actually a firefighter. And not too long after that, he got another call where he learned that unfortunately his dad had unalived himself, okay? And Brandon said that it really hurt him because they were just starting to reconnect and he wasn't able to say goodbye to his dad. But he does say that his father is the reason why he wants to be the best dad ever. And I hear what he's saying, but the way that he was speaking, you would think that he doesn't already have 2 children. It sounded like something that was a goal in the future. And I'm like, are you not already the best dad ever to the 2 children that you have? Because the way that he was saying it, I was like, you got kids, don't you? You mean you are the best dad, right? Anyway, Brandon says that he told that their dads must have put them together up in heaven. And I did not like that at all because remember, dad has passed away as well. So he's saying that both of their dads are in heaven and they worked to put them together as if it was fate. It seemed very manipulative to me, very manipulative. And clearly Pastor Cal did not like him saying that either because Pastor Cal then says, how do y'all know that this isn't just a trauma bond, okay? And Brandon's response is, well, it can't be a trauma bond because, you know, I can't go a day without her. And Pastor Cal says, yeah, that can still be a trauma bond. Hello. And jumps in because, you know, she got to save her man. And she says, well, it's because we don't focus on the trauma of our past. We focus on the future with each other. But the fact that Brandon said that, I don't like it. Like I said before, it comes off as very manipulative. And I also said in a previous review that Brandon knows he knows what weaknesses are, right? He knows what her vulnerabilities are, and he knows exactly what to say. And I feel like that is an example of it. All right. So they both say that they know that they love each other because they just can't imagine life without each other. And they are absolutely sure about moving forward together. And at the end of the meeting, Cal says that he's definitely more comfortable with Brandon now because his initial energy was a bit off-putting. And I think the energy is still off. He's still being thirsty as hell. I'm not feeling it at all, but who am I? Who am I, child. So next we see David and Madison. They're having a little outing with Madison's dad and David's parents, okay? And David's mom says that she thinks that Madison is the one. She absolutely loves Madison. And I said, yeah, mama, I bet you do. Any woman who can get David's ass up out of your basement is going to be perfect in your eyes, okay? So Madison tells her dad that David moved into her spot, and he was like, oh, really? Because remember, Madison did not tell him that she and David are now living together. So he turns and he asks David's parents if they knew about it. And they were like, yeah, we knew because he had to move out of our damn basement, okay? And David's father was like, yeah, and there's still food in the cabinet. I said, child. David's dad was cracking me up in this scene, okay? So then we see Maddie's daddy. He has his confessional, and he says that them moving in together is a bit shocking and premature in his opinion, but hey, when you know, okay? So then David and Maddie daddy, they have a conversation, and David says that Madison is the woman of his dreams. He wants to marry her. He wants her to be the mother of his children, and he would like his blessing, okay? And Maddie daddy says, all right, well, I'll give you an answer to that when it comes to that time. And I say, hold on, Maddie daddy, don't act all scared now, because remember, you are encouraging all of this, okay? But he does say that he is happy that Madison found David, and he thinks that David is the perfect man for her. And even though it didn't work out in the way that it was intended, it's still a fantastic ending for the both of them. And David and Maddie daddy, they share a hug. Honestly, I have to say it was a really great meeting overall. The families really seemed to vibe well together. Nothing seemed forced or fake. They might make it, y'all. They might make it, all right? So now it is time for and Brandon's commitment ceremony. And I cannot believe P-Cal even, I'm like, P-Cal, why are you doing this? Why are you even doing this? But I feel like since it's not an actual wedding, he feels more comfortable doing it because he's like, all right, this ain't real. You know, this is just like, this like a little paid gig. Like I'm just hosting an event, okay? But I do not think that Pastor Cal would actually marry this couple. I really don't, all right? So we see everyone showing up. Madison is grilling Michelle. And then we see Carla asking Michelle where her ex David is. And Michelle says, oh, he's with the other blonde. I said, girl. I said, oh, girl, that really made me laugh out loud. All right. So Pastor Cal comes in. Brandon comes in. Walks down the aisle. Looks beautiful. Okay. And when Pastor Cal says that he knows that these two are attracted to each other because they can't keep their hands off of each other, Brandon does that same stupid ass hand gesture that he made at the reunion to symbolize that they've been having sex. Some stupid shit like this. And we see Juan and Carla make a face like, because it's very embarrassing. Like, I don't understand why he's so childish and stupid. Like, okay, y'all be having sex. It's just very immature to me. And it's not funny. It's annoying. Did he not watch the reunion back? Did he not cringe at himself? Not at all. No social awareness at all with this guy. Okay. So they say their vows and now they're committed. I said, yay, I guess. So anyway, now it's time for the reception. And we can see Michelle. She pulls David aside and she asks him if she can speak to him. And child, the look on Madison and Camille's face. So Camille was looking like, oh, and Madison was looking like, why this girl trying to talk to my man? Like Madison was not feeling it at all. Okay. So Michelle tells David that watching the show back, she did not realize how rude and unfair she was being to him. And it was uncalled for. Okay. And she says that she's very sorry for how she treated him and he did not deserve it. And they shake hands and they tell each other that they hope that they grow. And that, to me, that was a little shady because David was like, oh, no problem. I accept your apology. I hope that you grow from it. And Michelle was like, you too. I hope you grow too. I hope you grow as well. But they do cheers and they wish each other the best. And that's that. Okay. So after that, we see everyone in their little confessional. They say what they've learned from the experience and what they're excited for in the future. Pretty much the same shit that they said at the reunion. We don't get a Catchy's confessional because obviously he's not at this event. So we were done with the Catchy from earlier. Then we do see there's a moment, and it can be editing, but Camille gives this little sweet speech in front of the group about how much she loves Tom and how happy she is that they're together and they chose each other. And Tom just has like this nervous look on his face, like, yeah. He gives his speech as well, and he says pretty much the same thing. But I don't know with this couple. I don't see it for Tom and Camille anymore. And that really sucks because I was sold on them after the reunion, but now, not so much, child. Not so much. But that was the end of the episode. Tell me all of your thoughts below, all of your predictions. Do you think that David and Madison are going to make it? Do you think that Tom and Camille are going to make it? Let me know. Also, I will be going live next week, Tuesday, with Tammy Talks. We're going to talk about the entire season. Okay, I cannot wait for that because you know that's my girl. You know that's my girl, all right? Before you leave, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you are made aware when I upload next. And baby, I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye!
Roxiie says we're gonna talk